questions. We have a lot.
Yeah, no problem. Pretty good, right? It's pretty clear. It's kind of neat. Have you seen this thing?
We're really frustrated, but then when it
It's a sign where you can measure things with it. You can actually see it. Okay?
Thank you for that.
Have a good weekend.
Actually,
Yeah, you're a food, right?
yeah, I was like president for.
Where are you going? Excellent.
Yeah,
I think Jared and Nathan have rugby.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know what's giving it.
You have to think about it. Yeah, you think about it, not me. Your question. But you're right in that city. So what happened to the tire?
Where is that?
Exactly. Where's everyone? I know Pratik is not here.
Where's the girl? Where is
Pratik, Will had to drop some forms, and Will just texted me, I'm sure it's fine.
You know what I got my trouble with?
I mean, he's here for the club, so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Alex's
That was
brother.
remember I said, tell you have to get past a certain hurdle, and then it's easy.
Just gather around the computer. Pratik is at the Plus Retreat, and I don't know what happened to Tranman. He said he had to go. I thought he was kidding. He was a kid. Oh, there's Rohan.
There's an acceleration horizontal.
Rohan, just gather around the computer, because there's like 3 people here. I don't think we can do that.
So a lot of kids said it was like 0 and 9.8.
Where's Bill? Is he with Ping? He's not with Ping.
This is like a computer science lab, so.
It's not due today, though. But
Some people also put
Is there school tomorrow? Alright, I'm just waiting for him. I texted him already.
if someone comes, then they can replace my friend with Ping.
Call him.
And then I also give you the height. You just have to use that.
But we just- Since we don't have much people, how about we just zoom in on you? So you can't tell if you're right.
I was gonna do that. I mean, if you're in the frame, it's fine.
You're ready to roll. That was the hump. That was the hump. You had to figure that out.
Well, thanks for coming, Brian.
Yeah.
Who is this young man who's awesome?
I was talking to Darren, I was like, go after these.
I'm right here.
He's not here. If he's not here, that's gonna be.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. He texted me, said he's here.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Do you have your questions?
Alright. Fine. In the stock market, I'm pretty sure the loss. Nope. I invited him already.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Hey, are we on today?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him.
You guys gonna set it up or you
Oh. Okay. Oh, hello. There we go.
Hey.
Hey, alright, son. He's back. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you, yeah.
Can I share as well? Or just-
Do you
Okay,
want
there's
us
one.
to?
Yeah, there's like 3 people here. Just gather around the screen.
Alright.
Hello. Hi. Oh, first of all, before I start, I'm recording this and broadcasting this on YouTube. Is that okay with you? That's fine?
Yeah, no problem.
All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about your career, and also can we talk a little bit about like how you do your stocks and all that stuff, like a little information regarding about that.
How I get the information, or
Oh, no,
how
just-
I technically, like
Yeah,
where I buy them?
Like how do you invest, all that stuff. Like maybe towards the last step. Is that okay with you?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So first question is how did you get into investing?
So how I got into investing was I got interested in economics first, philosophy and economics. So I had friends at university who were interested in what was going on with that, and so we would exchange books, and especially the Austrian School of Economics I was interested in. So there's like several schools in economics. There's the Chicago School, London School. There's also the Austrian School. And most of those people are actually in the US. It's more popular in the US. So I read a lot about that. I was really fascinated. And it really goes into like politics, political philosophy, and philosophy of law as well. And then like 2000, 2005, 6, I started sensing that something was kind of off. Something was wrong in the economy in Europe, and we were going to have some trouble. and that could last for a long time. We could really have a depression. And so then I got worried about how do I, how should I say this? You know, how do I build a living for myself? How do I take care of my savings and my financial future? And so then I started applying more and more ideas to, well, actually investing. And so that's how, like, writing more and more articles about what was going on rather than theoretical stuff. I started writing a free newsletter. I wrote like several reports, also all of it just like blogging and for free. And then I started working with somebody who already had a newsletter, helping him out. And then a year after that, somebody else approached me who was a publisher. And so he was publishing electronic newsletters already. And he asked me if I wanted to make my own newsletter. And so that's how I got into being like professionally involved in financial advice and investing. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. So, so you said you want to know how you provide for yourself. So how did you, besides like writing those blogs, how else do you have another like job, like at a certain institution or?
Yeah. I did all kinds of things. So like, let's see, I was always writing, but I didn't really make money doing that. I did web design for a while, which I was not good at, but at least it paid the bills sometimes. I worked for a private school as a staff member for a while. That paid a little bit of money. I just did all kinds of weird jobs. I was in sales. I sold beds. I sold shoes. I don't know. I was really torn whether I should get a degree, and even like because my friends were getting their degrees and then pursuing PhD programs and then doctorates, stuff like that. And then I thought about that for a long time and eventually decided not to, because I wanted to have more different experience and a different career. So it didn't really matter to me what kind of work I was doing. I was like trying to learn as much as I could on the side. And then eventually I was able to make money doing what I loved. But like my work didn't have a lot to do with what I'm doing now. I mean, the what paid the bills for a long time, like up until I was like 27, I did do translation. So I did translate a big book, which was a book on economics, 900 pages from English to Dutch. So that was related to what I was doing.
And then how did you get into your I think you're editor-in-chief for your own magazine, correct? How did you establish that?
Yeah, so well, the magazine, the newsletter isn't out yet. It's like what they call is like in stealth mode. Like I haven't launched it yet, but I'm pretty known in the Bitcoin community because I've gone to a lot of conferences and I made some investments in the space, and I'm like every day active on Twitter and social media, and I do write articles regularly, have some reports out. But I did build an email list, so if I put out a free report, and in order for people to read that, they give me their email address. And so that's how I have like a list, and so I can communicate to a lot of people at the same time. I think on Twitter I have like almost 13,000 followers. So that is like my main focus has been the past few years is to basically grow a reputation where people can trust me, trust that what I say is what I do, and they trust that I don't lie, or I will admit it if I make a mistake, and also and also I communicate about the investments that I make for myself, and so people can see over time that I do well, and so that's how I want to build up the trust that they will also subscribe to my newsletter when it comes out, for which I will charge money. Because of various circumstances, not just because I do feel ready professionally, but I've moved around a lot internationally, and a newsletter is a big commitment, so that's why I haven't launched it yet. But I know how the models work, and the way it works is that you find a partner. So if you're an analyst and you think you know a lot and you have value, then usually you partner with somebody who's very smart with media and who can help you spread the word, and maybe as a publisher, or who has also a big email list, and then you can share the profits or something like that, or you can do it yourself entirely, or there's like publishing houses where you're like one of 10 newsletter writers. There's many ways to do it, or you can start your own fund. That's like another way to capitalize on knowledge about economics.
You said you invested in Bitcoin. Bitcoin. When did you start?
So I learned about Bitcoin in 2011 first. It was April, which was right around the time when I was launching my newsletter in Belgium. And so I was a bit careful in the beginning, and I studied it. And then eventually, in February 2012, I recommended people buy it. And also, I started. I think I started buying when I was like $3.5, $4, and then more when it was $5, something like that. And I recommended it from when it was $5. That's like early 2012. So it's been like 4 years now, I think.
How much is it worth now? Out of curiosity.
Sorry?
How much is the? So you bought one Bitcoin for like $3 or $4, $5. How much is a Bitcoin worth now?
Oh, now it's $600.
Okay, that's a nice investment. So, do you like? So is it like a? So do you like? Is it like a stock? Do you like trade, like buy and sell when it's high and low, or no? You just hold on to it and it just slowly goes up.
Sure. So I do some trading, but I like for the most part I just buy and hold because I believe in something for the long term, and maybe like over a period I keep it for like like for example silver. I bought silver in 2000, started buying in 2010. And I haven't sold any. Like it's gone like up and down, and I just think it's a good investment for the long term. So for 6 years I haven't touched it, but I do like to kind of keep myself on my toes and to kind of put a little bit of money on the table, but that like I don't like to trade for more than like 1 or 2% of all my savings. So if I do one trade, it's like maybe 1% or less, maybe 0.5% of, if I have $1,000, I'll only put in like $10 to make a trade. And so that's how I feel like I don't feel stressed. I sleep well. It's okay that I lose money sometimes on a trade. But it's, I feel like it's fun and it keeps me like engaged, and but it's a matter of personality. Some people like to do a lot of trading. I actually don't. I like to have a good portfolio for the long term.
So do you have actual stocks as well besides silver, gold, Bitcoin?
Yeah, I have some stocks as well. Actually, pretty like fairly low amount, because I think globally a lot of stock markets are overvalued because there's so much money printing happening. But I have some gold mining stocks. They've been doing well. I have like a little bit of energy stocks. I don't have any like what they call blue chips. Like blue chips are like the big companies that are well known. I don't have those. But at some point I do plan to buy. I would love to buy technology stocks because I think technology is just going to be amazing in the next like 10, 20 years. But I think there's just, it's so easy to borrow money now. Like the interest rates are so low. So companies and investors, they've had a lot of cash, and so they've been buying a lot. And so if the markets like do like a big crash, then I would like to buy. I would love to buy like Tesla, or I'd love to buy more Amazon or any of those type of plays. But for now, I think it's probably not the best time to get in.
Most of your stocks are long. Now, do you ever do like shorts or options or anything like that, or no? You just hold them for long term.
Yeah, I do. Well, the thing with I like the idea of going short, although it's like you can lose if you're not right with your timing. Going short, you can have a short position, and you lose money over time, even if the stock is flat, because you have to borrow stocks to go short, and then eventually you sell them back. So that's a challenge. Timing is a challenge, and that's different with long. You can just keep the stock and you don't have to pay interest. And the other problem is that there's so much money printing going on is that you will have inflation over time. So even if something is like not doing very well because there's so much new money being created, there is still money flowing into that stock, and so the value in dollars can go up, even though it's not great, and it's doing worse over time. If you look, for example, as like an extreme example, but like in like Venezuela today, there's so much inflation that if you looked at the stock market index or any individual stock, the price goes up. Not because the economy is doing well, it's actually doing really badly, but because the inflation is so high. I don't know, are you still there? Because I think you froze. Hello? Let's see. Can you hear me? I'm gonna hang up and...
Sorry about that. We cut out.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah,
I think you froze for a while. Yeah.
I'm sorry. So continue.
I don't know. Did you? Yeah. So I gave the example of Venezuela, where there's a lot of inflation. All the stocks in Venezuela are going up, expressed in, if you look at them in Venezuelan bolivar, in the currency, the local currency. So it's like extremely difficult. You cannot go short in Venezuela, even though the economy is very bad. So I think that's why I don't like to go short, because you don't know. Timing is extremely difficult. But I have gone short. For example, now there's I don't know how much you know about Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies that are out there. Have you heard of some other cryptocurrencies?
No, just Bitcoin. That's the one I've heard of.
Oh, okay.
But,
But there are some other ones. So there are some other ones, and there's one in particular that I think is going to go down. And so what I did is I shorted it against Bitcoin. So there's a currency pair, Bitcoin, Ethereum, for example. And what I did is that I went short in Ethereum because I think Bitcoin is going to be stronger. So yeah, I do like to go short sometimes, but usually not.
And then what about, there's things called options. I've heard about them. I heard they're super risky. Can you explain, do you know what they are, and perhaps explain to me what they actually are?
Yeah, I haven't bought options ever. I know that they can be interesting. I know a little bit about them. I think an option, the way I understand it, is it's like a bet. So you just bet that, for example, a stock, if it's at 15 now, you can bet that you think it's going to go above 20 by a certain date. Maybe like by 2018, I think it's going to go above 20. And if the market thinks that's very unlikely, then that option is going to be very cheap. It's going to be very cheap to bet on. It's kind of like betting on horses. If you bet on a horse that's very unlikely to win, you can buy that option cheaply and you can make a lot of money if you win. So options is like a way to, to have, like, if you have very specific ideas about the future, if you think you know something that nobody else really knows, then you can make a lot of money with options. And as far as I know, like, if you keep your bets pretty small, and you don't borrow a lot of money to place those bets, I don't think the risk is necessarily that high. Like options is actually described as a way to, especially if you keep your positions low, an option to do what's called hedging. So for example, if I like Amazon a lot and I'm gonna buy Amazon stock, I'm long Amazon, but I kind of want a little bit of insurance. What if I'm wrong? And what if there's a big crash in Amazon? And if Amazon is, for example, $100 now, I can buy some insurance with options that, for example, if Amazon goes below $70, I make a lot of money.
Oh, so it's
even though most of my money is long, I can kind of buy a little bit of insurance so that things don't go too bad if it goes down. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. So that means that they're actually good in small amounts. When large amounts, then it's not. It's kind of risky.
Yeah, I think the main thing with investing in general is like people start borrowing money to invest. Like that is the most risky thing you can do. And that's when you hear leverage. To me, that always when you hear leverage, you should hear borrowing money, because that's what it is usually. People are just borrowing money and they want to be able to make more money with that borrowed money, and that's when it gets very risky. If you invest, I've never done that really, so I always invest with just my own money, and I think that's safer.
What about 3x ETFs? I've seen them before. Read about them. They seem very volatile. Right. You can make a lot if you're from the right side.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a pattern you can get from it, or?
Yeah. So those. So an ETF is an exchange traded fund. It's like it's a financial product that will track the price of something. It can be a stock, it can be like a commodity, or it can be like a bunch of things together. And so when there's like 2x or 3x, what they do is that it's not just tracking the price. They promise to basically infuse that product with leverage. So if it goes up 5%, in reality, you will get 10% if it's 2x, or you'll get 15% if it's 3x. But because you're borrowing money, there's also going to be a cost involved. And so what you see is that if you look at the ETF over the longer term, it actually does not do 3x. If it goes from 10 to 20 over a period of 6 months, it will not go to 60 in the 3x. And that's called decay. It's something that you see in ETFs, is that it will actually underperform the real asset that it's trying to mimic. So basically, these kind of products are used by people who do day trading. So they get up in the morning and they buy the ETF at 9 o'clock, and they will sell it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, for example. And then the decay doesn't really bother them. But for me, because I'm usually long term, I'm not interested in those products, because they will just very much underperform. And if the 3x ETF, if it goes down, it's going to go down a lot. I'm going to get really hurt. So that's why I don't really like it. And if you're interested in like day trading and stuff, then probably they will recommend it, because if you think you have a good idea, like gold, you think today gold is going to go up, and you feel very certain, then you can invest in that 3x ETF, and it's going to give you a better profit than the other ones. But other than that, I think it can be really like tricky and maybe dangerous.
What were your opinions on biotech stocks? Because again, when they get approved for like drug approvals, they can seem very profitable, but when they fail, it seems
Wait, what kind of stocks?
Biotech.
Which stocks?
Like pharma.
Oh, biotechnology. Yeah, I don't know much about it at all. I think those things, I think biotech has done really well for a long time now. And so what usually happens is that these trends, they go from like nobody notices them, nobody pays attention to them, and then some people start buying them, and then like it gets mainstream, it gets known in the mainstream that like, oh, biotech stocks are really hot, and then like a lot of people buy them, and maybe even like, you know, for example, when I was in high school, I was like 16 or something, some of my classmates were buying Asian technology stocks from I don't know if it was Japan necessarily. I think it was like Korea and stuff. And the reason why kids my age were buying it is because it was so mainstream and it had been going up for so long that even kids our age were like, oh, this must be great. And that's usually when you know that it's actually overheated and there's actually probably even a bubble. And maybe now it's actually not the time to buy at all. You kind of want to buy when you don't see it in the newspapers and when you don't. So I think I don't know a lot about biotech at all, so I can be totally wrong. But I think it's possible that biotech is in one of those places where kind of the same with real estate. Like real estate can also do really well for a really long time, and then everybody just thinks, oh, it always goes up, so let's just buy it. So that's kind of my thoughts about like just in general the categories. Like be really careful and compare them with other categories. And try to find real like metrics, like how are the profits in those companies? What is the PE ratio, the price to earnings ratio of these stocks? Is it you can find that per category. Are biotech stocks expensive or are they cheap right now? Like rather than just looking at the price and seeing like, oh, it's going up, so it's probably going to go up more.
Does
that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. The election's coming up soon, so how do you think the markets will react as the election slowly approaches?
Yeah, I think so. What's happening is that the Federal Reserve has not, which the central bank of America has not been wanting to
Raise interest rates.
take a stance, like raise interest rates and like do something drastic. And I think that's really influenced by the election cycle. So basically, they don't want to do anything big. They don't want to like rattle people because then they might vote differently. And you know, people don't like, especially the president or the party who's in charge. They don't want to be in a bad light. They don't want to be in a crisis when they also have to win the election. So basically, I think there's going to be a downturn when after the election is finished, the market's going to go down. That's often what happens because it doesn't really matter. After the president is elected, for 4 years he's going to be in charge. Whoever it is it going to be Hillary Clinton or Trump? He's going to be in charge for 4 years, so they can just take that recession, and so that's what often happens. If you look at presidential cycles, the first year is bad. And so that's why a lot of investors are trying to get out of the market and just be in cash for now until they see what happens. And if it's Trump, I think for sure the market is going to go down because they associate that with unpredictability. Like they don't know what he could do.
I think my last question is, when you're looking at stocks, what do you think about them? Like besides the fact that if it's going up, you might not want to buy them. What other tips? Like what sort of facts, like the P&E, anything else you'd look at?
Oh yeah, like indicators.
Yeah, what are some good indicators?
Yeah. For stocks, yeah, I think the cyclical PE ratio. I think it's called the CAPE ratio. So it's cyclically adjusted PE. It's basically it's been a very reliable indicator because it looks at long-term cycles. And so often, like to decide, do I want to invest in Russia, for example, and to decide on which geography you want to start investing in, the CAPE ratio is often a good indicator. Other measuring, it's just debt. Just look at debt in the overall economy. That's often like it reflects the risk. So the debt to GDP ratio of a country, the debt in the corporate sector in an economy. So I like to look at the big picture first, and then if I feel confident that, for example, a whole country like Russia today is valued cheaply, then I can go inside the economy and pick a few companies. But yeah, I think the value investing has been proven to outperform like growth investing. So like the things that Warren Buffett talks about are often reliable. Those metrics I think are usually helpful.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. I think we'll conclude the interview here. It's a tradition. Can you take a quick picture with you really quickly? Actually, if you want. Brian,
Sorry, say again?
can you take a quick picture with you? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, of course. How do I do that?
Actually, fine. Just scan the screen. You can take a screenshot.
Okay.
Since no one's
Yeah.
broadcast to this, so hopefully they'll see it. It's kind of awkward.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. No. Just going back. Yeah. Sorry. We'll be in the back. We'll be behind.
Oh, okay. I got it. Should I do something with my hands?
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you do whatever. It's fun. You got it?
Where am I gonna take this picture?
It's over here. Just like over there.
So I take a picture with the computer and.
Yeah, and him. You say hi to him.
Hi. Okay, wait. He's not even in the picture.
Oh.
There.
There we go.
I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of me
There
and
we
you
go.
guys now. 3, 2, 1. Sweet.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much for your interview.
Thank you.
Is that yours right there?
You're welcome. What's your name? I never learned your name.
Romeo.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for helping them.
What's your name?
Oh, Romeo. Romeo Ignacio. Oh, can you hear me?
Romeo. All right. Well, nice to meet you, and be sure to send me the link or something if it's ready.
Yeah, and I'll send you a photo as well on Twitter. I'll tweet it to you. All right, I'll be seeing you.
Okay. Come in. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Oh, you-